come on into the space, get comfortable. We have a really large group tonight of signups. So,
oh,
woohoo, everybody wants to know how to detox. That is the buzzword for the night. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please get yourself comfortable. Make sure maybe you got some water, some tea. Christina, you may have to leave. I'm trying to read this. Oops, let's see. You have to leave. Is there a replay? Yes, we will have a replay up. Now, you will want to, and I can address the whole group with this. You will want to subscribe to the Banyan YouTube. And that way, anytime we put a replay up, you'll know. As much as I love every single community member, it can be very overwhelming when I have multiple emails of people wanting multiple replays. The easiest thing to do it, to be able to get our replays, is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll put the link in just a little bit to make it easier for you. So yes, that will be up. I hope that answered that. You're welcome. All righty. So we're still going to give maybe one more minute for people to come in. I'll continue to let people in. But as I was saying, you want to be comfortable, right? If you're sitting there right now and you're already like, my butt hurts, my back hurts, move, get in a place that's comfortable. Get yourself a notepad if you are that type of person. I am that person. I still write everything down. Get yourself something to wet your whistle. It is nighttime. You want a glass of wine, have at it. Hot tea, water, and open mind, right? Open mind. So let's see, we're at 6:03. Going to continue to let people in, but we're going to get this show started. First of all, I'd like everyone just to take a moment to feel yourself in your place, wherever you're at. Take a nice big deep breath in, using that belly. Exhale it out. Maybe move your jaw around a little bit, open your mouth, unclench. I say that for me because I'm a clencher. Maybe flutter your eyes a little bit, look around the room. Really just change your focus, come into your body, be comfortable. We love seeing cameras on because we love seeing real life humans. So if you feel comfortable and you want to put your camera on, please do. We are recording, but we can't see you because we're spotlighting the talker. And so everybody else is hidden, but it's nice when you're on and you're teaching. I'm speaking for Patty, to be able to see people. So yes, you can do that as well. And then the way we like to start this is just to show where everybody's from quickly in the chat box. If you can represent your city, your state, or your country. Let's see who's the furthest away. I am in Menlo Park, California. Oh, well, goodness. Italy just jumped in and was like, boom, Italy. All right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cool. Canada, El Cerrito, Vallejo, Sac, San Jose, British Columbia. Yes, Wyoming. There we go. And this is why I like doing that. And I love that Italy was just like the fastest. Oklahoma, North Carolina. Beautiful. So number one, that's beautiful because that means this community is just all over the place. The other beautiful thing, oh, you're a reporter, that's why you type fast. Fantastic. The other beautiful thing about that is clearly something about the wording of the class. Maybe you're on Eventbrite. It said, it called to you and was like, oh my gosh, I want to know more. You may not know anything about detoxing. You may have learned what you think is detox, and that maybe not the safest and most gentlest thing for your body. So Patty is one of our practitioners. We absolutely adore her. She's going to tell you her credentials and all that. I have to toot her horn and just say, you're in good hands tonight. And my name is Mel. I guess I didn't introduce myself. My name is Mel. and I am the CEO of Banyan Tree Women's Collective. We are a 501c3 based out of the San Francisco Bay Peninsula. I'm in my office in Menlo Park. One great thing about the pandemic is this: people from all over the world coming together to learn in a space. So I'm really thankful for that. And we believe at Banyan that access to wellness choice and experience should be a human right. It should not be determined by your geography. It should not be determined by the money in your bank account. You should have access to tools that are going to help you on your individual health journey, become healthier, become the best version of yourself. So I challenge you tonight to sit here open-minded, be ready to ask questions. Don't be shy. Patty is so easy to talk to, and we're going to venture into herbs for detox. Miss Patty, are you ready?
I am ready. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Let me just add your spotlight, and let me actually, there you go, co-host you.
All righty.
Boom. Everybody, Patty, everybody.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen okay?
We can.
All right. Okay. So happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year in Western culture and happy Lunar New Year as well. My name is Patty Liu, and I'm super excited to teach this class. It's my first class of the year, first class with Banyan Women's Collective for 2022. And I'm really excited to share with you this topic of herbs for a natural detox, because as Mel said, I think the word detox is such a buzzword, and I really want to that word and share with you my recommendations and insights on how you can support your body's own natural detoxification processes. So really relying on your body and its own resilience. Okay, so today we have a lot to cover. So I do have the chat box open, and I'm probably gonna ask some prompts. Feel free to type it in the chat box, but my goal is to leave some time for Q&A at the very end of the course. So today we are going to talk about Detoxification 101. We're gonna dive into respiratory lung health, go over herbal and lifestyle support for the respiratory system. I'm going to share a couple additional offerings, and then we're going to wrap up. So just, I didn't mention this earlier, this detox class is the first part of a complete series. So we're aiming for it to be a 4-part series. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of detoxification, and then we're going to start with the first system and organ, which are the lungs. All right. So hi, everybody. My name is Patty. I am a certified clinical herbalist, a holistic beauty coach, and a skincare formulator with roots in Oakland and Santa Cruz, California. And I truly love helping women amplify their natural beauty so they can look and feel their best. And hopefully by the end of this class, you will understand through my teachings and my offerings how you can look and feel your best. I run Free Flow Botanicals, which is a conscious beauty brand. And this brand offers you skincare and self-love rituals that help you tune into your inner rhythm. So this is a big part of my teaching as well, to tap into the rhythms and cycles of nature and the season so that you can reconnect more to your own inner rhythms. You can learn more about my plant-based skincare products and beauty tools at freeflowbotanicals.com. All right, and this is something I always love to start with, because from a holistic beauty and health perspective, and they seem very simple, but I just want to share because I think these are such good reminders of the basic needs that we need, we have to thrive, to really thrive. So having a well-balanced diet, having good sleep hygiene, getting regular movement every day, and managing stress. So new year, new you. I'd like to start off with just a few questions. So feel free to take some time on your own to ponder these, or if you've been asked this already this year, feel free to type in the chat box. What's one word or theme you'd like to embody this year? For me, that would be flourish. I really want to feel like I'm flourishing this year? What are your intentions for this year? I'm hoping to bring in more joy, abundance, and ease. And what is it you wish to let go of? For me, it's, the need to be perfect, the need to compare myself, just the feelings of self-doubt, right? So if you would like to share in the chat box, please let me know. And I'm seeing all these wonderful responses. Yes, restoration, balance, grace, softening. I love it. Resilience. And more importantly, how do you want to feel, right? How do you want to feel? And this is going to be a question that will come up as we explore detoxification and supporting the lungs. How do you want to feel? Okay, so let's start by getting a fresh start with detoxification. But first, I want to take a moment to focus on terminology, because as I mentioned earlier, detox is a very buzzy word right now. And a lot of people I hear saying, I'm exposed to all these toxins and chemicals in my house, and I want to get rid of them. I want my body to eliminate these toxins. So I want to clarify, and hopefully you will find this interesting, that a toxin by definition is a poisonous substance secreted by certain plants, animals, bacteria, and fungi. So these are usually organic, natural substances that are part of nature's defense mechanisms. You've got amitin, so you've got the famous death cap mushroom. You have bacteria sources of toxins. You've got plants. Ricin is from the castor bean, which I have down here. And solanine has really come up a lot. Is anyone familiar with solanine and where it might be found? So solanine is a alkaloid toxin that is produced by plants in the nightshade family. So these include tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, bell peppers. Yes, exactly, Bree, certain foods. And one of the very popular adaptogens right now, ashwagandha. So solanine isn't necessarily deadly, but it can cause upset stomach, it can cause vomiting, nausea, especially when you eat foods that are nightshade family foods that are unripe or have been damaged, right? Because that is the plant building up its internal defense mechanism. So you want to be careful, and this is especially important if you have an autoimmune condition. So then we've got animals that can excrete zootoxins. So these are toxins, right? So you may have thought toxins were something else. I thought so for the longest time. So I wanted to offer this point of clarification because I think it's very important. So what's a toxicant? Okay. So a toxicant, by definition, is a toxic substance that is produced by or is a byproduct of man-made activity. So the key point here is it's synthetic. So a synthetic substance that can cause irritation and or inflammation in the body, or something that is harmful or hazardous to the body. And you can see here, I think these photos are pretty self-explanatory. Plastics that we get exposed to, household cleaning products, certain heavy metals that are, just synthesized, and then pesticides. So just want to make sure that folks are clear on this distinction. And for the purpose of this class, I'm going to be using the word toxic substances. Yes, perfumes and fragrances, if they are irritating for you, then absolutely, they can be a toxic substance, right? Especially if you are allergic or they cause inflammation or a reaction, absolutely. So what is detoxification? It's the process of removing or mitigating the toxic effect of a substance, whether it is a natural substance or a man-made substance. Detoxification entails changing the properties of a toxic substance so that it becomes less toxic or can be eliminated from the body. And this is a big part of the liver's function, and it does this through phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And if you join me for later parts in this series, you'll learn more about how the liver can actually change the properties to make a toxic substance more or less harmless so it can be eliminated. And then finally, this is really important. Detoxification is bringing the body back into balance, bringing the body back into a state of homeostasis, right, which is ideal. Why do we want to detoxify? Well, toxicity is the underlying factor that contributes to most, if not all, health problems. So things like stress or chronic stress, a poor diet, physical and chemical agents and irritants, autoimmunity, abnormal growths in the body, inflammation, degeneration, they all have something in common, which is they are precursors to disease. So a lot of the toxicity that we experience from toxicant, especially in the form of foods or pesticides, they are often fat soluble. So what does that mean? When you ingest something fat soluble, it doesn't necessarily get excreted in your urine. It actually can hang out in your fat tissues, right? So for long periods of time. And where in our body do we have a lot of deposits of fatty tissue? Anyone want to take a couple guesses? Yeah.
Liver.
Yes, liver, absolutely. And this is something specific more to women too. I'm thinking of an area of the body. Yeah, well, so close, yes. So the breasts, yes, absolutely. Breast tissue, brain tissue. So fat-soluble toxins, which are usually in the form of pesticides in the context of this class, these can be stored in the tissues and cells throughout the body for days, weeks, and years till it builds and builds up until, you know, we end up with a chronic disease. So toxic substances affect our metabolism, they affect our behavior, they affect our mood, they can lead to all kinds of diseases like neurological disorders, liver cirrhosis, cancer, heart disease, and stroke. And so our bodies are definitely affected by this long-term exposure. And as modern day life continues to place a toxic burden on our bodies, what happens when we get overloaded, right? I think I saw a bunch of folks type in liver, and you probably know that, yes, there is fat in the liver, and also the liver is the main organ for detoxification. So primarily, I'm listing here what happens when our liver gets overloaded. Okay, here are some signs of the effects of toxic buildup or toxicity. They can manifest in the form of physical, emotional, or cognitive/behavioral issues. And here is just a very quick summary of all the possibilities. This is a non-exhaustive list, and if anyone can relate or something stands out to you that you've experienced, one or more of these, just type in the chat box, yes, maybe a yes exclamation point, because I can definitely see at least 5 that have affected me. Right, so these are signs and symptoms that encompass physical, emotional, and cognitive. So we can see the deleterious effects of toxicity, of chronic toxicity in our lives. So now that we understand why it's important to focus on detoxification, because ideally we want to avoid, as much of the symptoms on this list as possible, I'd like to share the benefits of detoxification. And you'll notice that I put in parentheses, when done correctly. And the when done correctly is a point that I want to make around fad diets, juice cleanses, fasting for a week, let's say. And I'm not necessarily referring to intermittent fasting or timed fasting, but folks seem to want to fast for a week, which you can, but that actually starts to break down a lot of muscle mass if you fast for over 24 hours. So let's go through the benefits when done correctly. It allows your body to heal naturally. It strengthens your immunity, helping you ward off infections. You are able to absorb nutrients, right? So I think there's a saying in Ayurveda, digestive health is not what you eat, or you are not what you eat, you are what your body assimilates, right? You can be eating all the healthiest foods, all the antioxidant rich foods in the world, but if your body cannot absorb it, it gets excreted. Detoxification can help you increase your mental, physical, emotional, and cognitive behavior and energy. You can see a great improvement in the quality of your skin, hair, and nails, and overall a better, healthy health and well-being. So I just want to note, if you are working on gentle, natural detoxification, which is what this series is about, effects may include headaches, stomach aches, nausea, fatigue, dizziness, and palpitations. So oftentimes, to a certain degree, these side effects are absolutely normal as your body goes through withdrawal, as it goes through detoxification. So you feel worse before. So again, I really want to emphasize the importance of detoxifying correctly. Taking excessive amounts of laxatives so you can clear your system, or as I mentioned, fad diets, or just over consuming tons and tons of liquids, or even taking large amounts of nutritional supplements like turmeric, right? Turmeric is generally good for inflammation, but some folks take turmeric in extremely large doses, and that can actually cause severe anxiety and insomnia. So we want to be really careful. And trained practitioner like a clinical herbalist such as myself can help, because we have studied these herbs extensively. Okay, so how do we begin? As a holistic health practitioner, I like to take a holistic approach, focusing on the body, mind, and spirit. My focus with detoxification in a natural way is about cleansing and rebalancing, right? Getting our body back to homeostasis on a chemical level, on a molecular level, on a biological level. The protocols for detoxification vary by person, so it would depend usually on the levels of toxicity and the symptoms that are experienced. But the general protocol, which I think rings true for most of us attending this class, is to start by supporting your major organs of detoxification. And what are those? So the lung, first set of organs. The lungs receive the greatest exposure to toxic environmental substances, whether they are natural or synthetic. So microbes, I'm thinking about mold, right? So mold can be an issue, especially black mold, chemicals, dust, pollution. Then we've got our kidneys, which serve to filter out cellular waste, drugs, and toxicants from the blood in the form of urine. Our liver, which is the most essential organ for detoxification. There's so much to say about the liver, and we'll likely be sharing more on this in a future class in this series. Then we've got the colon, which is the second major site of detoxification. what it does is it concentrates undigested material by removing water before eliminating waste. And then finally, this is my personal favorite organ, the largest organ, our skin, and it promotes detoxification via sweating. So just a quick recap, I will be going over, I think, most, if not all of these organs in greater detail. I'm going to focus on the lungs today, and then in subsequent classes as part of the series, we're going to focus on the rest of these. Okay, respiratory lung health. And I think this is really timely to talk about it, to talk about respiratory lung health right now, because this is carrying over from the fall season where the weather gets cooler, the climate gets drier, and we may find ourselves with a dry throat or battling a cold or flu, battling, just doing what we can to prevent ourselves from catching that pesky little virus that's going around, right? So lung health is extremely crucial, especially still as we are still in the middle of winter. So a quick introduction to the respiratory system. It's a system of oxygen intake and CO2 elimination. There's two main areas of the respiratory system. You've got your upper tract, including your nostrils and trachea, and then you've got your lower tract, which includes the bronchial tubes and the lungs. And one thing I just want to share, and this I learned in herbalism school, and I'm just like, wow, it was kind of like mind-blowing for me, but there is this beautiful symbiotic relationship, right, between our lungs and the exchange with trees, right? So next time you see a tree, I just give it an offering of thank you, of gratitude, because this is the ultimate relationship of give and take, right? It's beautiful. It's just, look, our lungs are like an upside down tree, and the tree is like a right side up set of lungs. It's just beautiful. So how do we support lung health? Well, avoiding respiratory irritants. So this could mean, pollution, smog, dust. Even if you're working in the kitchen and let's say you're working with powders, it wouldn't hurt to wear a mask to protect your lungs from these irritants. You want to find ways to soothe irritation and inflammation, because the climate right now tends to be, well, depending on where you live, it could be wet, it could be damp, but it also could be very dry, right? So that immediately leads us to dealing with a sore throat or general dryness, especially around our lungs, which can then further lead to inflammation. We want to figure out how to open the airways. And this is where breathing techniques like the Wim Hof method is really helpful. And then we want to support healthy mucus production. So what is mucus? And I think mucus gets a bad rep, but mucus is incredibly supportive and helpful for us. Mucus is a slippery substance that coats our eyes, mouth, stomach, and our lungs. Without mucus, we wouldn't be able to blink. We wouldn't be able to protect our stomach lining from acid, from gastric acid that aids in digestion. The mucus also helps to sweep away invaders like bacteria and foreign pathogens with the help of cilia, which are tiny hair-like projections. And so I like to think of the mucus that is continually produced by our body to help clear bacteria and dust from our lungs, like a conveyor belt, right? So it catches bacteria, it engulfs it in that slime, right? That slime, and then it helps take it out, right? So we can cough it up in the form of mucus. And when we experience or are exposed to pathogens that are harmful, our body, as part of its own defense mechanism, ramps up the production of mucus to quote unquote wash these pathogens away. So that's why when you're recovering from a cold or flu, and you have an irritated set of lungs, you're coughing up a lot of mucus, this is your body's defenses working. So this is a good thing. Now the issue is, how do we not accumulate mucus in our system? Because we all know mucus does not necessarily feel all that great, right? Especially if we have an unproductive cough. And has anyone just experienced coughing and you know you have something to hack out and you just can't? So this is where herbs can really come into play. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some key herbal actions when it comes to respiratory lung health. The first is a very broad spectrum set of herbs that are antimicrobial. I think this is very self-explanatory. It can help protect and defend. Excuse me, I'm just going to let folks in. It can help against bacteria, viruses, foreign pathogens, fungus, infections, fungal infections, etc. So antispasmodic. So let's take a look at the middle word in here, which is spasm. So if you have something that's really uncomfortable in your respiratory system and your lungs, then you might want to relieve that excess spasm. And herbs that have antispasmodic properties will help to ease some of that discomfort from the excess spasms. Then we've got antitussive herbs. Anyone want to take a guess what antitussive might mean? I see Bree raised her hand. Okay, so no cough. So yes, antitussive is basically a cough suppressant. So think Robitussin. Robitussin is a very popular commercially branded antitussive. Then we've got demulcent herbs, which by nature have more mucilage or plant slime. That's how I like to think of it, plant slime. You can think of like the aloe vera juice, right? You can think of, in my herbal world, herbs like licorice root, marshmallow root. They tend to be more slimy in nature, which is super soothing for our mucous membranes, not just in the lungs, but our gut as well, and different areas of our body. And then we have finally expectorant herbs. Expectorant herbs help us dispel that stuck mucus, right? So expectorant herbs come in a subclass of actions defined as stimulating and relaxing. And I'm going to go into that in further detail. Okay, so I have included a subset of herbs that support the respiratory system based on the actions that I've shared with you. So antimicrobial herbs, I love garlic. I love eating raw garlic. In herbalism school, I learned how to make pickled garlic, which is wonderful. And I have a recipe for pickled garlic. It just tastes absolutely delicious, and it has this savory kind of umami taste to it. You can grab that recipe off my website. I am Patty Liu, or freeflowbotanicals.com. Then you've got elderberry, which has a specific affinity for viral particles, right? So it helps to block the attachment site on your own cells to prevent many viral particles from landing on your cells. Mel, would you mind helping to type in the website? Thank you. Then we've got Echinacea, wonderful antimicrobial. The antispasmodic herbs can help to bring relief, right, from that excess spasm, right, that you may be experiencing. So in this case, peppermint, garlic, and sage are my go-tos. Antitussive, peppermint, very soothing. Wild cherry bark is also wonderful. You can make a decoction of wild cherry bark, and it's just really soothing, and mix it in with a little bit of raw honey. It's just wonderful. Then yes.
Sorry, just to let everybody know, everybody that's attending will receive all of Patty's information, ways to contact her, as well as her takeaways from this class in email. So don't worry about not having that access to it right now. You're going to receive it.
Yeah, thank you for that, Matt. And then Christina, if you stay till the end, I will have a slide or two with ways you can stay connected and access my website as well. So demulcents, we talked about it having like a slippery, kind of slimy attribute to it. So that is super relieving, right, for inflammation or irritation. So these are wonderful options in terms of bringing down that inflammation. So I mentioned there are two subcategories of expectorants. We've got stimulating expectorants and relaxing. So what is the difference and why is it important to make that distinction? Because stimulating herbs, expectorant herbs like mullein leaf, yerba santa, grandelia, and osha, they help to ease and get out that mucus if you have an unproductive cough, right? If you have oftentimes like a wet, heavy infection and the mucus is just kind of stuck, it's not moving, stimulating herbs will help to bring it out. If you have one of those dry hacking coughs where you feel like, oh, I've hacked all day, I can't hack anymore, but I still need to get stuff out, then you want to consider a relaxing expectorant, right? So it's not as intense, because a stimulating expectorant used on a dry hacking cough will likely aggravate that cough further. I hope that makes sense. And then one of my favorite at-home modalities is to focus on respiratory aromatherapy. This includes using herbs or essential oils with plants that have aromatic properties. So that means a lot of the mint family herbs that are so easy to find or grow, or get dried, you can consider. They have excellent volatile oils and a lot of antimicrobial properties that make these herbs great for cleansing and decongesting the lungs, especially if you use it in a preparation such as steam inhalation. It's one of my favorite ways, and that's going to be a part of a short demo that I do tonight. And then you'll see I have a little note as an asterisk. So when you're working with essential oils, because they are so potent, and I have a lot of respect for essential oils, so I just want to make it very clear and emphasize the importance of using essential oils at the recommended dilution rates. So that is typically 1 to 3% by volume, right? So if you want to do 1%, that's usually typical for someone starting out with aromatherapy, and then 2% is sort of the middle of the road, and then 3% is if you're dealing with a chronic condition or infection, then you can up it up to 3%. So that I hope is helpful. And you can always reach out to me to get more information on recommended dilution rates. It's just, it could be very dangerous and damaging for your skin or your body to use essential oils at high concentrations. I know it's tempting because we all love our lavender oil and we probably want to dump a lot of it in our diffusers or our facial steams, but in general, I recommend just erring on the side of caution. And if you want to use essential oils as maybe a chest rub, there are a lot of great aromatic essential oils that can serve that purpose to help relieve congestion. Please don't put it on meat. Please add it to a carrier oil, right, for safety. Safety is very important here. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the lung-specific facial steam. So today we're going to create a facial steam with herbs that have an affinity for the respiratory system. So if you attended one of my classes last year, I shared with you the benefits of a botanical facial steam. So this is the same concept, but you're using a different set of herbs, primarily these herbs that have more volatile oils and properties that can really cleanse and decongest the lungs. So we're working with a separate set of herbs here. You can use fresh or dried aromatic herbs. I know, Vivian, you have an amazing garden, so you could probably pull all kinds of things from your garden, right? And the rest of you, maybe you have rosemary. I think, Mel, you probably have quite a number of herbs. I know you've got lemon balm. Those are really wonderful options for aromatic herbs. You can just pull a bunch and use those for your facial steam, your lung-specific facial steam. So I really love this method because it offers a very gentle and effective way to cleanse, moisten, and soothe the lungs. Because how a facial steam works is it takes the steam that's infused with the oils and the constituents, basically all the good stuff that's found in the herbs, and it uses steam action, right? And you can use it to help clear your pores. You can use it as a deep cleanse for your skin, but in this case, for a lung-specific facial steam, you can use it to cleanse and soothe your lungs. So I just want to point out the note I have at the bottom. I don't recommend steaming for anyone who has extremely, extremely sensitive skin. You know, if your skin is very reactive, I would just be very cautious with that. If your skin is severely inflamed, if you're experiencing severe acne, infection, sunburn, windburn skin, rosacea, or visibly small broken capillaries. And if you have a personal question about this, please reach out to me separately and I can help you kind of navigate this area. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demo. I'm going to stop my share. And Mel, is my video full size? Okay, good. All right, so hopefully you can see me. And if you got the recipe, you should have gotten a copy of the recipe as part of the class materials. Basically, you want to have a large heat-proof bowl, so you can use like a metal or glass bowl. You want to have about, I have about 1.5 liters of hot water that I just boiled. And then you want to use some of the herbs that I mentioned. So here I've got a mint that this I grew in a garden when I had a garden. So I'm just gonna toss it in. I put in about, loosely, about probably 3 tablespoons. I hope you can all see it. And then I didn't list this on the slide, but I'm a huge fan of lavender. Lavender is very aromatic and it's got incredible healing properties and volatile oils as well. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of lavender. French or English lavender, you can still get the benefits from. Okay. And then very simple, you have a large clean towel ready on hand, right? Because like you saw the lady in the photo on the slide, she has a towel draped over her head, which I will do in a minute. But first, I've got my dried herbs here, and of course you can use fresh. And I'm gonna add my hot water to the herbs. I can smell the aroma already. Okay, so basically steam is going to start coming out, and this is very precious steam. We don't want the steam to escape. So let me put that here so I don't knock it over, and actually I'm going to tie my hair back so I don't make a mess. And what we want to do is we want to create a steam tent. So the woman in the photo, I think for the purposes of the picture, her face is exposed, but you don't want to expose your face because the steam will escape, right? So you want to create a tent so that the steam does not escape and can penetrate. You want to put your face about 10 inches away from the steam for safety reasons. And then when you put the towel over your head, which I will demonstrate, this is a time to really focus on gentle breathing, right? You don't want to take really big, quick breaths. This is an excellent way to practice self-care and self-love. This is a huge self-love practice for me, and it's almost like a meditative practice for me. So you're going to want to basically, hover over your bowl like so for about 5-10 minutes. What feels good for you. If the steam starts to feel too penetrating or feel uncomfortable, you can stop. You can take a break. And if you're ready to resume, or if you want to wait till the steam is less intense, you can continue to do so. I find that using aromatic herbs really helps to soothe my lungs. And I'm not even sick when I benefit from a lung-specific facial steam. I often use it, especially in the fall and winter season, just as a preventative measure, as a form of self-care. Because when you're breathing in that steam with the beauty of the botanicals infused with it, it's really a blessing. And I think it helps to cultivate a deeper relationship with the plants. And if you say you're really craving a facial steam and you don't have access to fresh or dried herbs at the moment, you can use essential oils. But again, just be mindful of how much of the essential oil you're using. Don't overdo it. Or if you're really in a pinch, you can just throw in a couple of tea bags, right? This is not ideal. The herbs are probably not going to be as potent in a tea bag, but this is still something you can consider. So I have organic peppermint herbal tea. That's always an option. Okay, let me go back and finish up. All right. Okay. So additional offerings as we wrap up tonight's class. Wow, time flew. So upcoming classes, as I mentioned, Herbs for a Natural Detox series. This is part 1. We're going to continue with, I believe, 3 more classes as part of the series. I'm working on the details with Mel as we speak. So we're going to give you more details, including the dates very soon. So please sign up for their mailing list to stay updated, or follow both of us on Instagram. And then tomorrow, this is one of my community offerings. Every season, I like to teach a holistic beauty rituals class that, as I mentioned earlier, I am a real big fan of connecting to the energy and energetics of each season and really connecting to what traditional medical practitioners observed in our environment and use that to understand our health and well-being and how to better support our health and well-being by understanding the energetics of the environment. So this is a free community offering that I'm hosting tomorrow, Thursday, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific. So we're going to cover what winter energetics mean for your health and well-being, how you can stay in balance so that you can flourish this season. That's my theme for this year. And then holistic beauty rituals and skincare support. So if you found value and you thought my teaching and content was interesting today, I think you'll really enjoy tomorrow's class. So you can register at the link below, or if you have your phone handy, you can just scan the QR code and it'll take you to the registration page. So I highly encourage you attend. I think it'll be a lot of fun and a very informal setting. Okay, additional resources that I offer, all free, all complimentary. I have a variety of blog posts. As you can see, the pickled garlic recipe is on my website. I offer beauty and skincare consults for free, so 20-minute consultations. If you have any personal questions that you would like to get answered, you can just scan the QR code as well, or reach out to me via Instagram. So I really want to thank you all for your time today. I've had so much fun teaching, and I hope we can stay in touch. And before we transition to Q&A, I think Mel has a few announcements to share.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for attending. I just put in the chat box a link to the Banyan YouTube channel. If you want to click on that, you can subscribe. We also have a learning portal on the website. When you go to the website, online learning, if you click on that, there are a lot of classes there if you want to peruse. And then a gentle reminder that we are a 501c3. We run strictly off of donations. So if you are of means to be able to donate any dollar, you can click there. It is tax exempt. You will get the tax exempt ID number and your thank you receipt. And if you're like, you know what, I really like what you're doing, I don't have the ability to donate right now, you can use Banyan as your nonprofit of choice on Amazon Smile, and they put a little bit of change for certain purchases, and that ends up being something for us at the end of the year. You can share, you can subscribe to us on social media, and then forward our different offerings. You can tell your community members, you can invite family members. Those are great ways to support us, and we greatly appreciate it. And we also have great things coming up for February. Make sure that you look, sign up. Some things are in person, some are online, and that will be, all that information is up right now. And then you do need to subscribe when you sign up for Eventbrite. So if you are not receiving information, it's because you said, I do not want to subscribe. And I know that's tricky, and that's an Eventbrite thing. It's not a Banyan thing. But if you choose not to subscribe, you won't get the takeaways, and you won't get the information that you probably really want. So those are my things for the rest of the evening. I want to say thank you again for sharing, for showing up. I want to thank you, Patty, for sharing all of your knowledge with us. And then we can use this last couple of minutes for any Q&A.
Go ahead, Bree.
I wanted to know what part 2 would entail, if you could give us a little overview.
Oh, sure. So part 2, I can't remember which organ I'm going over, and I don't think it's been finalized yet, but part 2 will be a continuation of the natural detoxification, and it will be one of the following organs: kidney, liver / colon, or the skin. So that is the plan. Yeah, Mel and I are still working through the details. So herbal and lifestyle strategies that support these natural elimination and detoxification channels in our body. So we can optimize these organs in our systems, then we can help them do their job, right? So we can help them do their job so we can stay in balance, because that is the ultimate goal, to get back into balance. And if folks don't have any questions, I'd be really curious, what was something that surprised you that you learned about in class today? What was something, that you didn't really expect to understand or learn about or be told about today? I would love to know. And then, are there specific topics around herbal medicine and health and wellness that you would love to learn about? Because I love getting inspiration from you as well. So if you want to type that in the chat box, I would love your help to inform me how to plan for future programming. So Solanine and ashwagandha was totally new. Yep, absolutely. Do you take supplements? Which ones do you use to support? Yes, I do take supplements. I have my my weekly supplement box here. I take a woman's multivitamin. I take resveratrol. Resveratrol is really helpful for not so much reversing aging, but slowing down the effects of aging. And I think a lot of resveratrol is found naturally in red wine. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is great. I can drink tons of red wine, right? That's actually not the case. You'd have to drink a lot of red wine to the point where you probably won't be feeling too good about yourself. So take it in a supplement form, and resveratrol is more bioactive if you take it with a good fat. So I often take it with yogurt, right? So it helps it become more bioavailable in your body. I take omega-3s, and I take something for helping promote bone density. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, so Yeoman says the fact that mucus can be good. I'm just going to read through these comments real quick and take notes as well. So yes, that mucus can be good. We cannot live without mucus. So yes, let's give a shout out to mucus, because I think it's had a bad reputation for most of us, including myself. Okay, I'm interested in the aromatherapy aspect and how constituents pass the BBB, which is the blood-brain barrier. It's an excellent question, Vivian. So to clarify, are you wondering if you inhale the essential oil or the herb in the form of steam or through a diffuser? Are you wondering about the actual biochemical that those constituents enter and pass through the blood-brain barrier? Can you clarify? Okay, yes. Okay, you know what, I'm gonna just gonna copy these notes down so I have them on record. I'm gonna go ahead and stop my share.
And quickly, I'm just putting it in the chat box. I had a couple of messages that stated that people that have taken classes were not receiving their takeaways. This goes back to what I was saying about it's an Eventbrite thing. Our systems are connected. Our emailing system is connected to Eventbrite. If you don't subscribe, then you won't receive. So that link I just put on in the chat box easily tells you how to adjust your preferences on Eventbrite. So it gives us permission to be able to send you these emails. And we appreciate you doing that, because we are a 2-person team, and it's really hard with thousands of participants to have to try to navigate sending it to you directly. So if you could take a minute to do that, if you're like, I'm not receiving things, we'd really appreciate it.
iPhone wrote, I would like to learn more about herbs that help relieve allergy symptoms. So yes, generally these are herbs and foods that are naturally high in quercetin. You can also take quercetin as a supplement. So allergy symptoms, depending what kind of allergy symptoms, there are a variety of herbs, especially when done through a facial steam, that can help decongest a lot of those symptoms. And then another favorite that actually has nothing to do with herbs is gua sha. So gua sha is my go-to beauty and health tool. If you want to learn more about gua sha, I have a very extensive blog post on my website, freeflowbotanicals.com. And I plan to be teaching more classes that share acupressure points that can stimulate the different stimulate different areas, acupressure points that can relieve sinus pressure, congestion, and even help to beautify the skin. Okay, thanks, Bree. You validated the fact that toxicants have on us and the physiological responses they trigger. I'm glad that helped. how would you recommend taking ashwagandha, or would you recommend staying away from it? That is such a good question, Marshall. So it depends. There are some contraindications with ashwagandha. For example, if you have a sensitivity to plants from the nightshade family, because ashwagandha is a close cousin of tomatoes and eggplants, some people do have a reaction to ashwagandha. And unless you know exactly what you're taking ashwagandha, and assuming you don't have a case of hyperthyroidism, then you could consider it. But my recommendation is do your research. You are responsible for your own health. Do your research or consult with a trained, qualified herbalist or health practitioner.
Yeah, that's today I saw a commercial with Jennifer Lopez, and it's now an ashwagandha gummy, and I did exactly that.
Oh,
Shit. Because it's Jennifer Lopez, and who doesn't want to be just a little bit of that? And it's ashwagandha, and she's shoving it in her mouth, and it's in a gummy. And I'm just like, oh God, here we go.
yeah, exactly.
You have to be really, really diligent. I know it sucks. It's so hard, but you got to be careful of buzzwords. You got to be careful of the celebrity popular thing. Question it. And you have to look at interactions. Yes. You know, plants are amazing, but plants are medicine. Mm-hmm. So just like you don't take any medicine, you have to be aware of what you're putting in your body, because with women and thyroid issues, it's such a slippery slope. And work with a professional, somebody, know where they go to school, know where their certifications are, ask questions. It's your body. You're worth it. Question everything.
Question everything and do your research, do your homework. So is it okay if I just spend another minute just going through these? I think these are really great questions for those of you who are still on. Thank you. I appreciate it. So what do you take for bone density? It's a combination. I can envision the bottle in my head, but if you really are curious, please reach out to me and I'll share with you the brand. I've been using it for a while and I really like it. But, you know, bone density, high impact, you know, walking, exercises, aerobics, very, very helpful. That's a great way to get in movement and improve bone density. Okay, surprise, or the difference between stimulating and relaxing herbs for cough. Are we all allergic to the Solanine alkaloid, or is it just some people? Some people are more sensitive, and I truly caution against, just be very mindful if you have an autoimmune condition, because what this alkaloid will cause inflammation in your body. So that's on top of the inflammation you may be experiencing from your autoimmune condition. For most of us, it might just be discomfort. I have no issues with eggplants, but I generally try to avoid unripe tomatoes or the potatoes. If you let them sit too long and they start to sprout, right? You generally want to avoid that. Solanine is most concentrated in the leaves and stems. So you just want to be very mindful. Okay. All right, I think that's it. Thank you all. These were great questions, and thank you for the suggestions on future topics. I hope you enjoyed this class, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one, coming to you very soon. And I hope to see you in my winter holistic beauty rituals tomorrow. I will be covering a lot about inner and outer beauty, so from a holistic health perspective.
Yes, and go on to the Banyan site, look at the calendar, because right into February, we start February 2nd with our first class, and that's the Nidra Yoga Challenge. It's week long. Well, not challenge. It's just, we want you to get your feet wet with some Nidra Yoga. And then next weekend, locals, next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, Mukta is going to be doing amazing mindful eating class here in Menlo Park. So sign up, show up, you're worth it. We care about your health. We care about your mental health. We care about your immunity, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye.